Hi, I'm your host, Michelle Poverman, a former anxious empath turned mostly grounded psychotherapist, intuitive guide, and energy healer, and this is Into the Work. And it isn't just a podcast. It's your actual invitation to break free from old patterns, end the cycle of your self-abandonment, and finally step into the life your soul has been craving. Each episode is a spark to help you rise higher, to help you shine brighter and reclaim the truth of who you really are. The spark has already been lit. And sister, this is a journey from spark to brilliance. So together, let's go ignite a fire. Hey, welcome back. We're going to start today just by saying out loud if you are feeling tired, not just physically, but maybe even soul tired, you are not alone. There is a lot happening in the world right now. Violence everywhere, chaos, injustice, noise. It's a lot. And for those of us who are sensitive, empathic, deeply feeling humans, it can feel impossible to know how to stay open-hearted without completely burning out. Many of you have shared with me that you want to speak out. You want to care. You want to express how much you care. And you want to stand for something meaningful. And at the same time, you are desperately craving peace. If you have felt torn between those two things, this episode is for you. If you have felt both, I want to scream from the rooftops, and also I want to hide under my covers for a week, this episode is for you. So there is something to say about the fact that I think sensitive people, I think we burn out faster than others. Sensitive people don't just observe pain, we experience it. And I think this is true for everybody, but I think it's particularly true for us empaths, for us sensitive types. Your nervous system, it takes in the tone of what's being said. It takes in the energy around what you're watching, the emotional content of what you're watching. And then your own emotional response to it is all entwined in that. It's not just information. And when you scroll, watch, read, or engage constantly, your body doesn't know the difference between witnessing something and actually being inside it. And then you look at the comments, right? The comments are crazy, people. Like, I have, when you get into the comments and you're on social media and you're scrolling through stuff, the amount of hatred and you just don't want to know that exists in the world. As a sensitive type, you want to believe that everybody is good. And yes, maybe even these good people are just behaving terribly badly. But I am really so sick and tired of the divide. And it is so exhausting. And I'm sure you feel the same way because we really do care a lot. And this is why we feel so exhausted and overwhelmed right now, even if your own personal life is relatively stable. And I want to say this clearly, awareness does not require our absorption. And most of us don't understand the difference. And you don't have to carry suffering in your body in order to care about it. You can care about the suffering that's happening and then make sure that you don't continue to carry that suffering in your own body. You do not have to stay flooded in order to stay compassionate. So if you've been feeling really depleted, foggy, emotionally heavy, it doesn't mean that you're, too weak or too sensitive. It just means that, yes, you're sensitive, but you've probably been doing too much and you probably need some boundaries. I myself am somebody, I was just telling my group that I meet with about this. I am somebody that from a very young age, when I was little, I was so viscerally against injustice. Like if people were being bullied, I just couldn't tolerate it. Like I would get involved. I remember being young, and I think I was like 7 when I went up to the neighborhood bullies and gave them my fist up in their face because they were bullying my older brother. And I said, I'm going to give you a knuckle sandwich if you don't stop bullying my brother. Now, that runs through me, right? So I watch injustice, things like seeing bad things happen to people is just, I mean, it does eat at my soul. Like it feels so incredibly overwhelmingly bad. And that said, if I live in that against energy, this is a very important layer here that's really important to name. Okay, living in this against energy. A lot of what we're being asked to hold right now does live in against energy. We have been divided, right? We are divided in half as a country here in America. When you get on social media, it takes you to path A or B, right? The algorithms alone are set to divide us. There's everything everywhere is so divisive. We have a government that is calling us names and making people the enemy that don't agree with them. And we are divided. And so it's really important for you to understand the cost of living in against energy, being against the other side or being against all of it. And we are going to be against violence. We're going to be against injustice. We're going to be against harm. And let me be clear, wanting change is not wrong. Speaking out is not wrong. Protesting, not wrong. But for sensitive systems, staying in against energy for too long, I'm telling you, it comes at a cost. Against energy keeps the nervous system activated. It keeps the body braced. We're not safe in our bodies when this is happening. It keeps us in fight or flight. And as for empaths, this can quietly turn into self-abandonment, where, you might notice you're feeling obligated to engage because what kind of person are you if you're not, right? You are starting to feel guilt when you pull back. Maybe you feel exhaustion masked as caring deeply. You don't need to prove your compassion by staying dysregulated, though, okay? So you've nothing to prove, and you don't have to stay in this against energy all the time. And it's really important for your health, for your well-being, for your impact, because your vibration matters here on this planet. Your love matters, your ability to actually steer us all towards healing comes from a place of expansion, not constriction. So we need to shift you from against energy into what you're for energy, okay? And so here's the reframe that changes everything. So instead of asking, what am I against? I want you to think about, what am I for? And we see this out there too, right? I want you to start liking everything you see it's for peace, it's for safety, it's for human dignity. It's for love. It's for healing. And I want you to just start filling yourself up with what you're for. And when you anchor into what you are for, your energy shifts. Everything changes. Your body can be in safety while you're actually out there making a difference. And so this is where prayer comes in. This is where intention comes in. This is where higher vibrational love becomes an active force, not a passive one. And I do fully believe that. We have research that shows us the power of prayer, the power of this higher vibrational love on our planet. Going inward is not avoidance, it's alignment. And when you connect with what you're for, instead of only fighting for what you're against, your nervous system, it can soften and your impact can deepen. I believe that we are all a bunch of healers here. If you're listening to this, you have an inner healer. If you're not actively out in the world, I think you're actively out in the world healing. You just haven't labeled it yet, perhaps. Or you just know that you are. Whatever you're doing, if you have a business right now and it feels heavy and it's hard to put it out there, if you're having a hard time showing up in certain ways, in certain areas of your life, I want to give you permission. I want to give you permission right now to log off. You have permission to pray instead of post, or even better yet, go ahead and post your prayer. You have permission to care about consuming everything. You have permission to rest without guilt. It's so important that you release the guilt right now. You don't need the onslaught of any other negativity. or any other critical evaluation junk that you're going to do with yourself right now. You're allowed to protect your peace and love this world deeply simultaneously. Okay? You can protect your peace and love this world so deeply and love those people that you are seeing get hurt and seeing the chaos and the madness and the craziness that's happening right now. I mean, it is literally like an assault on our nervous systems. I mean, personally, I've needed to take a step back, and I just want to welcome you to do that. Now, have I been doing other things? I have. I have taken other steps. I have made phone calls. I've done things that feel an alignment for me, that I'm actually trying to do something with this, with my voice. And at the same time, I'm giving myself full-on permission to care without completely consuming. And then there are days I just get caught up and I consume, you guys. I'm just like, I have to check social media for work, or I have messages and notifications, and I'm like, oh, if I just go in there looking for something, it's 20 minutes later I come up and I'm like, oh my God, what did I just witness? That was horrifying. And of course, there's this other feeling where we can feel really messed up over the fact that not just what we're witnessing, but knowing with pretty good clarity that we know that not everybody is seeing this, right? Not everybody believes it to be true. And so there's all these other people out there that think this is all fake or whatever. That I'm not going to get into that. But you know what I'm saying? Like, we are feeling like I'm witnessing something and not everybody knows about it, which also can light a fire in us to feel like we need to do something. We need to fix this. And so then that really calls in our inner fixer. And all of us, usually most of my listeners, have a relationship with being a fixer and have a healing process that they're in around that, where they recognize they don't want to rescue, they don't want to fix. They have to let go of the areas in which they do not have control, and they need to breathe that energy back and learn what their boundaries are, right? We've talked about that so much. That said, to stand in, I can't fix this, I should do nothing, doesn't feel good. I mean, either way, really and truly, this is not a time that's going to feel good externally. So we really need to go inside our bodies, inside our lives, and we need to create the feel good ourselves. If you don't, we can look for the helpers, we can connect with other people in it, we can get out there and do good. And we can feel really good about that. There's all the prayer, the intentions you're setting, all of that matters. That's us doing good. You are allowed to protect your peace and care deeply for other people. Your regulated nervous system does matter, and your grounded presence really matters. The world does not need more exhausted, overwhelmed, spiritually disconnected people. There's enough of them. You can see out there's a lot of very disconnected people doing not good things. And our world really needs embodied humans who are anchored in truth, compassion, clarity, but not necessarily I'm going to hate or be against in a very dark way, because that in itself is us adding to the pain of our world right now. And there is just going to be a lot of pain. And we have to find a way, us sensitive healers, we need to find a way to lead with light, to show the light, to highlight the light, to be the light, and to bring in some sense of healing and peace for ourselves right now. Or we don't do anybody any good. We really don't. So I'll leave you with this. I really wanted to come in here to give you full-on permission to love yourself, love your life, find your light, reconnect with yourself, as well as hold space with your community, with seeing what's happening, and to recognize really what you're for in it, and to align yourself with what you're for, and take action in what you're for, versus living in the against energy that can eat us alive. As a therapist, a lot of my clients who I would say have strong archetypal activists in them. I'm a bit of a diplomat, even though I am such a strong reaction and I want to get out and fight in the streets. I'm also a diplomat. And and as empaths, we tend to see all the sides of all the people. We can see humanity through darkness. And I think that for us, it's really important for you to hear this and to experience this permission that I'm giving you here today. And that is to truly lean into yourself right now and what you need, and to trust in the subtlety and the beauty of what it is that you have to offer as an individual. And that might look like something that is safer to your nervous system than something that keeps you pushing at a rate that does not feel good to your body, your mind, your whole self. Sometimes the most powerful thing that a sensitive soul can do is truly staying connected to what they're for and believing in the good, looking for the good, seeing the good, and helping everybody else see the good. Because to be honest, if our mission were to be to fight the divide and to pull in all those people with love and understanding that don't understand what's happening, or understand it differently in such a way that we feel just feeds the divide, right? If we could get rid of the divide and we could love one another, then the really, truly horrendous people, the really heinous people, the really disgusting people, white supremacists, fascists, like we've got a lot of people out in the world that are bad. I think their numbers would be smaller, right? They'd be a lot smaller. And I think that's starting to happen. And so however we can bridge, however we can shed our light, however we can open up to healing, I think that we can make a difference that way. And so I just want to allow you to step into what feels right for how you're coded, right? We come down here, we all are coded for different things. My clients I was telling you about that have these, like, I call them archetypes, right? But they also have these codes. They are truly meant to get out there and fight and to argue and to perform in that way. And God bless them. Oh my gosh, let's cheer them on. And I call those my frontline empaths. I have an episode on that I will put in the show notes. So the frontline empaths are those that are on the fighting lines, right? They're out there making it. They're out there putting themselves out there, doing the fight. And they're still empaths, though. They're still holding all the qualities. And then you've got like the next line back, which are nurturing empaths, right? These are like, we are in the middle ground. We are holding space for all these people. We are holding space for the front lines. We're doing our work in a very different way. And then I had listed the mystics, and those are people who are calling it in and calling it down and working from the realms. And so honestly, I think it's important for you to acknowledge and know what you're coded for. What is it that you're here for? How are you feeling most alive when you think about the role you want to play in this time in history, this time right now, this time that's happening right now? And how do you want to show up? What are you coded for? What feels most aligned to you? And I just want to support that as long as you are staying in alignment with yourself, with your calling, with your purpose, who you are. Some of us are like, you know what? I'm buckling down in my business and I'm getting out there and I'm helping more people. And that feels really good right now because I feel like I'm actually adding to the parts of their lives that are beautiful and successful and incredible. And that's wonderful. So I want you to just really lean into where you feel called right now and what your codes are for it, and to acknowledge who you are and love who you are in it. And that's enough. All right. So have a beautiful week. I will look forward to talking to you next week. Bye for now. Thank you for joining me on Into the Work, Therapy for Empaths and Seekers. If this episode spoke to you, please follow the podcast and leave a review. It is the best way to spread this healing work to other women. Your presence here matters. Step into your power, heal your soul, and rise with women who are doing the same. Keep joining us every week, and together we can heal the world. If you're ready to dive deeper, grab your free Shadow Work Transformation Bundle in the show notes, and I will look forward to seeing you next week.